Hello, all. This is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a three. And in this particular video, I want to talk about some more PhD preparation tips and what computers and software they actually need to do well in a PhD program. So if you don't know me, I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. And I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There were so many people that helped me out to get through graduate school that I decided to pay the favor forward and help you out with all of these YouTube videos. I also created a source sharing economy proofreading platform. It's a work in progress. But anyways, so in terms of the software that you actually need in preparing for your PhD, so this is all the stuff. There was a suggestion from one of the followers of the YouTube channel to sort of provide some preparation tips before you go into a PhD and what to do and sort of think about all that kind of stuff. So this is in preparation for all of you who've gotten into a PhD program. Congratulations, by the way. That's awesome. That is absolutely amazing. It's really difficult to get into one. So you should be elated at this moment. So you're probably thinking about planning about stuff that you actually need to get into, sort of do well in a PhD program. And there's not a lot of advice in terms of what people would suggest and all that kind of stuff. And, first of all, I wanted to point out that I'm not going to try to sell you on any particular thing. I don't think it's necessarily like prudent. And as a PhD and as a fellow PhD, I kind of felt sold on some things that I didn't necessarily need, and I realized I didn't need any of that kind of stuff. But that being said, if you need any sort of suggestions and stuff like that, and I'm not going to put anything up at this moment, but if you want in the future and sort of supporting this project, I could do sort of a resources page. A good resources page or something like that on something, and then have some affiliate links and stuff like that. But I'm not going to do that at this moment. It's only if there is some demand, if you want, if you want that kind of stuff. But so what I would, so that's enough about that. But in terms of PhD preparation, what I would look for in sort of these two things in software and as well as hardware, right? In terms of the computers that you should, so first of all, in the computers that you should purchase, really what you need is just a basic laptop. And I would suggest, one or two areas if you're tight on cash, because I know that there's people from all around the world and they are tight on resources. You're going to be tight on resources for a long time. So you should be really thinking about that. What I would suggest, I've been using a Chromebook and, doing these videos and stuff like that. And it's like one of these 3-ray Chromebooks. It works really good. I'm very, very impressed. You might want to consider that. The only thing is sometimes some of the statistical software might not run on that. So it depends on what kind of hassle that you want with it. So you can go for a laptop, a basic laptop, and it should be in the US. You're probably looking at about $500 for something like that. But here is a caveat. What I would suggest for you to do, and this is kind of a trick that I've learned being in the university system, go on to every university has a procurement sort of website where they procure different stuff. And it's usually what they do is they sell the secondhand laptops and stuff like that other people have gotten rid of. And every 3 years or every 2 years, depending on wherever university you're at, the professors and other administrative staff and stuff like that, maybe it's every 5 years, I don't know, whatever, some limit, they end up renewing IT for all the different folks that work there. So you can get some really good secondhand computers that they function fantastic and they still work perfectly for anybody that is looking for something like that. And they're really quite inexpensive that you can get a deal on. They're just secondhand. They're going to be used, obviously, but they're in great shape. So any university across, I would say almost everywhere is going to have this, where they're getting rid of secondhand equipment, and you can get deals, absolute steals by doing that. Just go to the university that's close to you and look at their website, and you can purchase one for $100 or something like that. It's going to be totally fine. That have been used before in terms of getting their work done. Other people that have got their work done on that, just wash it down and clean it after. If you do that kind of stuff, you never know what people do with this equipment. So the other thing is, I probably would persuade you, and a lot of you are going to be thinking like this is absolutely crazy, but I would persuade you from investing a lot in like cell phones and stuff like that and other sort of distractions. They really are just a distraction. They're a toy, and there are professors around, and you know, a lot of people that would like kind of fight against it in terms of purchasing that stuff. I do have an iPhone, but they're a big money sink, and you know, in terms of what I use it for, other than just communicating with immediate family, it's, I mean, they're just trying to sell you stuff at the end of the day. I know that that's kind of crazy. And I didn't have a cell phone for years during my PhD. And it wasn't until the very end that no, actually, it was after I was done that I got a cell phone. And the reason is I just wanted to get podcasts and, you know, all that kind of stuff, like just for the music element of it. But in general, big time sink. And it's going to, you know, it's just going to be a distraction. So I would persuade you to think about that as like, do you actually need this to do well? And frankly, it's no, you don't need it. But you know, it's your choice. So the other thing that I would do in the third thing in terms of like hardware, just some earphones, and as you probably want earphones with like a microphone that you can plug into your laptop and stuff like that. So you can do Skype calls, because sometimes you do interviews and things like that and talk to other people around the world. And so you just want to communicate with them. And Skype is sort of the software of choice for most people. It's free, that is in this profession. I don't know of too many other people using other things. Sometimes you might use FaceTime, and again, then you're going to need an iPhone, but you can use it FaceTime on your laptop as well, and it works totally fine. I've done that. The other thing, okay, so in terms of software that you need, again, I'm not trying to sell you on any of this kind of stuff. And so what I would recommend is just a basic, you know, word processing software like MS Word. Go to your university that you've gotten into. Sometimes they get deals on that. Most universities will get some sort of deal, and it'll just be like the vendor that will provide that. And virtually everybody that I know actually uses it, especially in strategy and stuff. They'll just use MS Word. Get a citation software is the second thing that's probably really important. There's all sorts of ones. I use Endnote because it's the most prominent, and you're going to be interacting with other people. Highly recommend Endnote. So there's some buggy elements to it, consumes a lot of resources and stuff like that. So, but there's other ones that other people use, like Mendeley. I've heard of the students using. I'm not sure how good it is, and I'm afraid to switch because there's switching costs. There's an investment to switch into something. But I know EndNote works, and it's a standard that I've been using with a lot of people. But you can try other ones. Put some comments below if you have suggestions for better ones, because or, you know, before you do that, make sure you've compared both of them and used both of them and have sort of competency in both of them and sort of provide that. Because I've recently switched from you know, being a PC user to a Mac user, and there's, you know, people would swear to be a Mac user. Frankly, I don't see a lot of difference between them, other than some nuances and frustrations between using them. And you can be competent at both of them. It's kind of really what my view is. As a professor of like innovation and stuff like that, is kind of what my view is with all that kind of stuff. It's just, you know, it's nuances. So a third one, so sometimes in some of the fields, PhD fields, you're going to use Latex, and it's freely available. You can download that and get used to it before you start. It actually is really beautiful. The documents that people that use Latex is beautiful. The only thing is in the, you know, it's very field specific. So look at the discipline you're in and sort of realize what field you're in. Look to see if other people are using those things. It's usually really identifiable when you see the Latex documents. They just look a lot prettier. They look different than MS Word documents. So look at that, and you know, if that's the thing that everybody uses, then you're going to have to get used to that. So you must get used to that right away. In our field, we just use MS Word and PDF. So yeah, just check that out. And you can do LaTeX and PDF. You could convert LaTeX into PDF. I've done both. And really, at the end of the day, you just got to go with what the standard is and what everybody else is doing. And that's actually a really big sort of innovation concept. Is just do what other people are doing. And that's the reason. Anyways, I can teach you all about that, but I'm not going to at this moment. Just do what other people are doing, and it's going to be a lot easier. So in our field, in my field, MS Word. And the other thing that I would suggest too is you're going to need some sort of statistical software. So I use Stata, and it's great. It's fantastic. I know a lot of people are using R now that are being brought up. It's open source. That's the biggest reason why. But Stata is kind of like pseudo open source anyways. A lot of the stuff is user written. People don't know that. You just pay for a package at the beginning. It works. So the advantage with Stata, it works really well. And it was built for basically statisticians or sort of more on the econometric side. So it's useful for doing some of the tools and tricks and stuff like that you would use for econometrics and analyzing it, that kind of field. But R is really catching up with a lot of sort of packages that people have written. They make really beautiful pictures. The other thing that's really nice with R is that it's just catching up. There's more users that are using it, and so it might be turning that way. I haven't switched, and I'm not planning on switching, just simply because I have a bunch of code that is written, or script that is written in Stata, and it's just a pain in the butt to switch. And so just maybe so again, it depends on switching costs and sort of frustrations and stuff. So ask who you're going to be working with, what they prefer, and they're going to give you a straight up answer. And for those statistical software, sometimes the universities do provide that. In terms of, they'll give you discounts again and things like that before you get in. Some people use M+. I don't use it. SPSS is another useful one. Again, and then it's M+ is part of that package. A lot of universities get that as well. The only thing, SPSS and M+ is a lot more like point and clicky. So doing sort of programming stuff, I found it more frustrating than to Stata is a lot more sort of code based, and same with R. And so it just depends what you're comfortable with. If you're kind of more in the point and clicky side, those ones are really good. If you're on, if you want to do some more programming and things like that, then you just find that useful, then use like Stata, and as well as R. Whatever, and Stata is kind of like in between. They have point and click elements to it as well. So another one, if you're doing sort of mathematical modeling, Matlab definitely is standard, highly recommend it. If you're doing any sort of like mathematical writing formulas and stuff like that, Mathematica is another great one that you want to do. And the last one is Excel or Access, MS Excel and Access. And so if you get MS Word, you should be able to get that anyways. So, or Python is another one. I believe that's free, that you can download all that stuff if you're working with larger data sets, larger than Excel and what Access can use. But my point is, it shouldn't really cost that much money to do any of this kind of stuff. And if people are selling you on a bigger computer, a big fast computer and stuff like that, they're just trying to sell you that kind of stuff. So when you get out and you go into one of these computer places, just be aware that they're trying to sell you on stuff. And you can get a lot of the resources that you're actually going to need. The vast majority of them are going to be provided by the university. So anything that's kind of unique, if you need a large amount of computing power, every university is going to have that. Access to some sort of data pool, computing sort of power network. If you need it, it's going to be there. Every university has that. It's kind of the standard. If you need, some weird software that the lab requires, then your lab should probably pay for that, right? Because it's out of pocket. So just look for that kind of stuff, and you can sometimes get discounts and things like that when you go if you buy it from your university. So that's all I wanted to point out. Again, I don't know if you want to sort of have a resources with sort of affiliate links and stuff like that, I could do that. But at this moment, I have no intention of building that into a website and stuff like that. I'm just looking for suggestions. If there is people that want it, I could do it. If not, yeah, I don't care. I'm not trying to make money off of any of this kind of stuff, right? So just looking for ways to give back. And if you can get some more resources, then I could do some more cooler things, right? But that's it. Yeah. Anyways, so, and hopefully I'm being painfully clear with this kind of stuff, right? I don't want to be, I just, whatever. All right. Take care and have a wonderful day. Looking forward to seeing you on the next video. Oh, give me a thumbs up if you like this one, and do subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, bye.